I think Janelle is full of asterisk. I believe Kody blasted Janelle because the sister wives patriarch felt guilty. They just welcomed a new grandchild. Will there ever be peace? Sister Wives stars Kody and Janelle Brown just welcomed Maddie and Caleb Brush's baby daughter, as per Maddie's Instagram post, and their granddaughter's a blessing. But in the past, Kody went out of his way to put Janelle Brown down, and I believe guilt pushed him to say things that should never have been said. As Kody and Janelle celebrate the birth of Maddie and Caleb Brush's newborn, Amelia Estelle Brush, they are probably elated. Janelle and Kody have both been through a lot, and uniting to share love for an adorable baby seems like a great way to embrace post-split life. It's much better than the alternative, continuing to sling mud on screen or in interviews or social media posts. Breakups can be grueling, emotionally charged situations. The Sister Wives Battle of Coyote Pass, which is playing out on screen, is an example of Kody and Janelle being at odds as exes. Janelle, who's had money problems, wants her ex to sell the land and give her what she's owed. Mary Brown feels the same way. Peace is in short supply, but maybe, just maybe, Maddie and Caleb's baby can unite the exes. See the cute baby above in Maddie's birth announcement post. In the past, Kody made his issues with the down-to-earth and nature-loving Janelle all too clear, painting her, the future Tata Farms owner Janelle, as someone who definitely wasn't on the level. During the pandemic, he portrayed her as lazy. In fact, he shockingly called out the woman who did her bit to support the Brown family, just like he did, stating, "What prompted this wild outburst?" Well, he believed that her complaints about his stringent COVID-19 rules were over the top. He seemed to think that she was getting melodramatic about a situation that wasn't really so bad. His full quote was, "I think Janelle is full of asterisk, and this is why she's full of asterisk. Because the kids aren't seeing each other all the time anyway." What's interesting is that Peyton Brown later claimed that Kody never got vaccinated against the coronavirus, basically implying that Kody was hiding out even after there was a vaccine available. In Kody's opinion, he did nothing wrong. In fact, he's certain that he's persecuted for falling in love with Robin. He thinks he can't win with the ex-wives because his true love romance-turned-marriage with Robin alienated them. This appears to fuel a lot of paranoia. He doesn't trust the women who hung in there for decades, trying to find their places in a plural marriage that was increasingly out of balance. Kody and Robin were devoted to one another. The other wives had to deal with so much emotionally, including Janelle, whom Kody often turned to for advice. To call the woman he often talked to his sounding board thanks to her common sense, a person who's full of asterisk T, is baffling. In no way did she come off that way on screen. Instead, she seemed exhausted by the pressures of parenting alone. Kody, perhaps subconsciously feeling guilt over how he treated her and his other non-Robin wives, was on a fault-finding mission. However, that doesn't change the fact that Janelle's life wasn't easy, whether the kids weren't seeing each other all the time or not. Ultimately, Kody needs a very feminine woman who lets him take the lead, one who's gentle with his feelings. That's what he responds to, and Robin generally delivers. Maybe that's why Robin got the big upgrade engagement ring. Janelle, more earthy and straightforward, was a great foil to Robin's sometimes cookie magical thinking and floods of tears. In fact, Kody cares about Janelle and doesn't even try to hide it. That might be another factor that pushed him to lash out. Maybe he realized their relationship was slipping away. It would never really be the same after the pandemic. They had a buddy dynamic that couldn't endure the stressors they were dealing with. Kody later wanted healing, referencing his karmic connection with the woman he often put down. These mixed messages seem to point to a lot of internal confusion. In light of what he said later, it's not impossible that guilt pushed him to put her down. He knew he was sequestered with another woman while she tried to look after her kids without a man to help her. She couldn't embrace his strict rules, or she would, very likely, feel terribly isolated. I think we all remember how strange it was during the first days of the pandemic. The rush to access toilet paper was like a frenzy. People were panicking. I did too. Kody Brown has never been one to mince words, but his latest outburst against Janelle Brown has fans scratching their heads. "I think Janelle is full of asterisk too," he reportedly declared, sparking yet another firestorm in the ongoing saga of Sister Wives. But was this really about Janelle, or was Kody simply lashing out because of his own unresolved guilt? The Brown family has just welcomed a new grandchild, another joyous occasion that should be bringing them together. Instead, it seems to be driving them further apart. With Christine Brown basking in the happiness of her new marriage and Janelle standing her ground, Kody finds himself at a crossroads. Is it possible that deep down, he knows he's the problem? And rather than face that truth, he turns his frustration on Janelle. The ever-widening rift between Kody and Janelle. Kody and Janelle's relationship has always been different from his relationships with the other wives. While Mary and Robin seem to have tangled emotional connections with him, and Cristin eventually left in pursuit of genuine happiness, Janelle had always been the practical one. She valued independence, didn't demand romance or grand gestures, and for years, this worked in Kody's favor. But now, Janelle is done playing by Kody's rules, and he doesn't know how to handle it. Fans have watched as Janelle found her voice, stood up for herself, and stopped accepting Kody's excuses. She's chosen to focus on her own happiness rather than beg for scraps of attention. And Kody, never one to take responsibility, has responded with anger, doubling down on his need for control. His explosive claim that she's full of *T reeks of deflection. Because if Janelle is right about him, if she really has seen through his manipulations, where does that leave him? A grandchild should be a moment of unity, not division. The birth of a grandchild should be a moment of joy, a chance for a fractured family to come together. And yet, instead of celebrating, Kody is seething. Why? Because in these tender family moments, the cracks in his foundation become undeniable. Cristin is thriving. Janelle is standing strong. Even Mary, whom he's kept on an emotional leash for years, seems to be waking up to the realization that she deserves better. And as for Robin, the only wife still fully in his camp, the pressure on their marriage is mounting. Kody could have taken this grandchild's birth as an opportunity to be a better man. He could have softened, apologized, or, at the very least, tried to mend some fences. Instead, he's chosen rage. And that suggests one thing: guilt. Guilt, projection, and Kody's favorite coping mechanism. Kody Brown has a long history of shifting blame. When Cristin left, he painted her as the villain. When Mary emotionally checked out, he acted as though she had done irreparable damage to their bond. When Janelle refused to fall in line, he called her disloyal. The pattern is clear. If Kody is unhappy, it's someone else's fault. But guilt has a way of gnawing at a person. Deep down, does Kody know he's the one who let this family crumble? Does he realize that his favoritism toward Robin, his selfish choices, and his inability to take responsibility are what tore the Browns apart? Probably. But admitting that would mean confronting years of mistakes. It would mean acknowledging that he could have done better. And for a man who thrives on control, that's a bitter pill to swallow. So instead of introspection, Kody lashes out. He accuses Janelle of being full of * because it's easier than admitting she's right. He stirs up drama because it distracts from the reality that he's lost more than he's gained. Will there ever be peace? At this point, peace in the Brown family seems like a distant dream. Kody doesn't appear ready to make amends, and the women he once controlled are no longer willing to bend to his will. Janelle, in particular, has made it clear that she's not interested in smoothing things over for the sake of keeping the peace. She has her children, her independence, and the clarity to see Kody for who he really is. If peace is ever to come, it will have to be on new terms, ones that don't revolve around Kody's ego. He will have to acknowledge his mistakes, apologize sincerely, and stop trying to control the narrative. But given his track record, that seems unlikely.